the genetic freak that is the beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. In my opinion, the most underrated and unappreciated heel of our time. This man isn't given enough credit for his love of the business and his contributions in the squared circle. On this channel, I'm not afraid to tell the truth, and right now, I'll say what some wrestling fans would hate to admit. Like him or not, Brock Lesnar is a draw, and has been for the past 8 years. Whenever the Beast was on the card of a pay-per-view or announced to make an appearance on either SmackDown or Raw, I found myself excited to see what he and his advocate Paul Heyman had in store for us. The man is hated for a lot of things by many wrestling fans out there, two of them being mainly his overpowered character and basically the Broly of WWE, and the fact that he ended The Undertaker's beloved streak. Personally, I don't mind that he was the one to break the streak because WWE booked him as an unstoppable beast, so although I was shocked as everyone else when it happened, it made sense why he was the one. If there ever was a person who was going to break the streak, it was going to be a force of nature like Brock Lesnar. Whenever Brock shows up on WWE, we already know he's taking a heavyweight title from somebody, and when he wins that title, he'll only show up twice a month without defending the title as much as we would like him to. On top of this, for his really light schedule compared to all the other talent on the roster, WWE pays him millions. This angers many fans, including me, but I've realized that this is actually what makes Brock a great heel. We as fans were never meant to like Brock Lesnar or admire him. The man was built to be a monster heel. Nobody likes an overpowered babyface. John Cena is the perfect example of this. It's why the crowd cheered the most when Brock beat him up. He was the only real threat to John Cena's spot at the top of the WWE mountain. Speaking of Cena and Lesnar, anytime these two titans collided in a match, it was something to remember. Except that one SummerSlam match, but even that match is remembered for how Brock absolutely dominated the most pushed babyface since Hogan. When Brock returned to WWE in 2012 after a great run in the UFC, he immediately had beef with Cena. And as a fan of John, I remember being genuinely scared for him. There was nobody more legit as a combat sports athlete than Brock. The man looks like he could kill anybody with his bare hands if he wanted to. If you paid attention to many of his intense matches since he returned in 2012, he plays on this fear that we have as a wrestling audience that he could seriously injure his opponent when he removes his glove. This was usually his way of telling us that he was about to swat the Fly once and for all, the Fly being his opponent at the time. The gloves coming off evokes an uneasy reaction from the crowd every time, and he knows it. His in-ring psychology is top-notch and very underrated. When he and Cena fought, and I say fought because their Extreme Rules match was far from the usual wrestling matches we had been accustomed to WWE at the time. I absolutely believed Cena was going to die in the ring on international television, but this is what I've come to appreciate about Lesnar. He makes pro wrestling look very real. The blood that came gushing out of Randy Orton's head at the end of his match with Brock Lesnar after he busted him open with a brutal elbow is an image forever ingrained in my mind. When Goldberg returned to in-ring action in 2016, he mentioned he came back for one man. Brock Lesnar was next. They soon had a match at Survivor Series that year, and saying I was stunned during and after that short match is putting it lightly. When Goldberg made quick work of Brock Lesnar, I popped like a dead whale. I couldn't believe what I was watching. The Beast incarnate was squashed for the first time ever. I mean, this was Brock Lesnar. He's the one who did the squashing. The star of the match though was Brock. From the moment he made his entrance to when he faced Goldberg just before the bell rang, you could see the Beast was nervous. Something we never really saw from Brock Lesnar. When Brock charged Goldberg and Goldberg shoved him off, Brock sold the push so well. It was perfect. Basically, I'm trying to say Brock made that match. In that 90 seconds, Brock showed his superior understanding of professional wrestling. To further illustrate just how good of a heel Brock is and how well WWE have actually booked him, let me take you back to Royal Rumble 2020. Brock dominated a huge chunk of the men's Royal Rumble. Whether it was Kofi, Keith Lee, or Braun Strowman, Lesnar eliminated many of the male superstars. Every time another superstar's music hit, the crowd in the stadium and us watching at home hoped that that superstar would be the one to finally throw Lesnar over the top rope, but Lesnar continued to dominate. As the match went on, we hated Lesnar more and more. I actually thought WWE were gonna troll us and have Lesnar just win the whole thing. The mood changed when the bagpipes blared out the speakers and Drew McIntyre marched to the ring with intent and passion, determined to get his hands on the beast. Before the night of the Rumble, on previous episodes of Monday Night Raw, Drew had the upper hand on Lesnar a couple of times, so we fans were justified in believing that if anyone were to eliminate Lesnar from the Rumble, it would be Drew. With an assist from Ricochet with the low blow, McIntyre claymored Brock's head off, and just like that, he eliminated the beast, and fans around the world exploded with pure joy and excitement. At that moment, Brock's job was done, and done to perfection. He made Drew McIntyre a star. Let's give Brock Lesnar his flowers while he can still smell them, because he is one of the best to step in the ring, and we as fans must appreciate his talent. Thank you for watching. This is Ring Banter. I'm Kat, the African Mark, and what do you think about Lesnar? Don't be afraid to hit the subscribe button to get more content from me. In my next video, I'll be explaining why Bianca Belair is the future of WWE. Peace.